All right. Hey, everybody. It is Tim Gillette, and we're back in the year 2022 with a new episode of the Tim Gillette Show. I am thrilled today that as we start a new year, a new season, that I actually get to bring a good close friend of mine on here today and get to know her, let you get to know her because I kind of know her. We're kind of in a mastermind together. All right. Have chatted quite a bit throughout the whole pandemic. And it's great to actually bring her on the show. All right. Introduce her to you guys and let you see just what a fantastic and cool interior designer that Staci is. So I've met Staci through Joe Pardo. All right. We're in Joe Pardo's mastermind together. And I just said, you know what I mean? I'm looking to interview people. And she said, I'll do it. Good. And I'm like, yes, let's get you on here and talk about what you do. Because she is very, very passionate about what she does. She's very, very wise about what she does. All right. And she's someone who just enjoys life like me, even though life throws some witty challenges at us. We still keep going. So let's bring Staci. It's Greenberg, right?
Yes.
You know, you'd think I would mispronounce your name just once to make you feel special.
Most people mispronounce the first name. I've had Tracy. Oh, please. It's been silly.
I have a cousin, Staci, so I'm never going to get that wrong because she's like one of my favorite cousins. So
it's not like being a Jane or a Susan or an Amy or it's still a common name now, but it's not as common.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like they're, you know, when we were younger, our parents named us simple names like Tim and Staci as opposed to Walakalhudwa.
Well, we come from America. That makes a difference, you know, or back. Yeah, whatever. But I let me tell you, I hated it growing up. I hated it so much that my mom named the Staci Stacy. Mm-hmm. And I was that kid. I had to be rebellious. So from the earliest days of when I could write, I would change it to an I with the little flower on top, you know, just make it very, and I ended up changing it legally because I just never related to the Y.
That is just, it's cool. It's like
big important news.
I know. Well, I hated Tim growing up. And I think we all kind of, in a way, hate our names growing up. It's because, you know, from third grade, pretty much through high school. All right. I was in a small school and there was 1 to 2 other Tims in my class. And I was like the skinny, scrawny Tim. All right. Every other Tim was muscle built and they were a tough guy. So I was always called Timmy. And I hated Timmy.
You're not a Timmy. I know you. You're not a Timmy.
I hate Timmy. It is there is only 3 people on this planet that I let call me Timmy. And it's because of I have a very sincere relationship with them. And they mean it in a heartfelt, caring way when they say it to me. Other than that, a stranger comes up and calls me Timmy, my blood curdles.
Yeah. That's funny because I used to have some people who call either Stacela or Stace. I don't know why that bothers. It doesn't bother me anymore, but when I was younger, I hated it. It. I don't know why. There was no reason, no rhyme or reason. Yeah. Anyway.
So I grew up in northeastern Pennsylvania, on the east side of Pennsylvania. You grew up, I think, you know, did you grow up in the Jersey area your whole life, or where did you come from?
Well, I mean, I have a very weird story, but I keep getting messages. I'm going to shut this off. So sorry. I didn't want to be interrupting our talk. I grew up in Jersey and then I went to Boston for college to start. I was in theater and communications, went to Emerson and really loved it there, but I didn't finish there. I came home sort of halfway through my junior year and number of years went by and I found interior design. So it was always a very theatrical approach to my life. But so I lived in New York for a number of years and kind of messed around. I came back to Jersey, I would say in my late 20s, early 30s. And that's where I raised my kids for a number of years. And I just keep making my way south. Eventually, I'll make my way over to you in Texas.
Oh, yeah. You're going to come down here and we're going to go have barbecue and stuff like that when you come down. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm a Jersey girl. I mean, when you talk to me, we do it in the mastermind. It was at Sue. We'll always say, yeah, we're Jersey girls, you know. Yeah. So it is.
I mean, it's interesting, though. I mean, I'm a Pennsylvania boy. All right. And there was like, between Pennsylvania and New York, Jersey's the outcast. However,
depends on what part of Jersey. Depends on what part of Jersey.
It does. All right.
Yeah.
But when I was 18, I liked Jersey because that was before they changed the law that you had to be 21 to drink in Jersey. So we
Yeah,
would drive over the bridge to go drinking and then drive back
yeah.
home.
Yeah. I remember that. I kept missing it by the year. Remember they graduated it up. I kept
Yeah.
getting in there. I was very cool. Yeah, it was really good.
And it was
So
just when it was when I was 18. When I turned 19, it was like right around then they changed to 21. And by then we were going down to Atlantic City. Right.
yeah.
So for us, that would be like a Friday night. What are we doing? Nothing. Let's go to
Yeah.
Atlantic City type deal. And
See, I'm a North Jersey girl, and that's a whole different. You're in another state when
yeah,
you're in the PA, South
it is.
Jersey. So yeah, it wasn't the same thing. We'd go to the shore or the beach for the summer, but that's not where we went to party. I know people who did Atlantic City, but I never fell
You
into that.
probably would have went more into New York City to party than
Oh yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Um,
New York and North Jersey had some really cool clubs, and in the summertime you had the clubs on the ocean, whatever.
ocean,
But
yeah,
that's different. That's a summer.
yeah.
Summer is
So I
different
mean,
than
yeah.
North. Yeah.
I didn't find any of the clubs like that I liked in Philly that being underage. First of all, after I turned 21, like 25, all right, now I found stuff in Philly that I liked. I got to
Yeah.
know the Philly. I worked closely in Philadelphia with some of the radio stations and doing promotions and stuff. So I got to know a lot of people in the club business in my late
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't in that world.
yeah,
No.
that's a different world. But it's interesting that you were in Boston as well, because I lived in Tewksbury in Lowell in Massachusetts,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
87 through about 90. And then I spent 6 months in Nashua, New Hampshire before I moved back to the Poconos. So
Love Nashua. Nashua is where I learned how to drink coffee black, stopped with milk. I went away on a weekend in college with some people who their family had a cabin in Nashua, and we did the weekend thing, and nobody remembered to bring milk. So I never went back. That's it. So big earth-shattering news.
It was no. When I moved back from New England to Pennsylvania, that's when I learned to drink espresso.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, I'm still stuck on espresso. Like, I don't drink coffee. I drink shots of espresso, a little bit of whipped cream, maybe some half and half. But I'm not doing that coffee cup. I'm doing espresso, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you need the caffeine. I get it. I'm with you on that.
And it's funny because now I'm in Texas, and I'm always looking for these family run espresso and coffee shops.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have many of them here in North Dallas.
No, I would think you wouldn't.
Yeah,
no.
It's what I mean. You've got to go to some unique towns. Like you get to some of the smaller towns outside of Dallas. There are some unique ones. But I love traveling the country and finding them now. And I got to tell you, still, my favorite one is the town my mom was in, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, right by the courthouse. A little place called Cafe Duet.
They still there?
They're still there. I was there.
All right.
2018 was the last time I was there. My mom moved down here from 2018, so I really haven't been back to. I've been back to the Poconos since 18 when she left. So
when I left Boston and came back to Jersey very briefly and moved into New York, I lived in the West Village at that time, and there was this one little coffee shop I loved, especially in the summertime. I used to love to go and sit and have my espresso and people watch, and those were the days. I love that. That's what I miss about the city, but not much more. Hey, I see Joe.
Joe.
I see Joe.
Hey, Rena Frida Watts. I love her. She's got an awesome podcast too.
Cool.
So it's interesting that, all right, you know what I mean? You traveled the Northeast. All right. Have you been around the country to visit anywhere else?
You
traveled.
One of my first remote jobs, this is well before COVID. So I was doing this kind of work remote pre-COVID many years ago. I did a store in LA for a friend. Never went out there. Never met anyone, but did it all remotely. And this is video days. There was no Zoom in those days, but we just did it. I got the dimensions, did the design, sent materials out there. So that was my first. I didn't go to California for many years until many years afterwards, but I did that. I have jobs all over the place. So I like to travel, but I'm a homebody. I don't mind not traveling either. I hate COVID. Who loves it? But the best thing out of COVID is the way I live and work is now normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People get it because this is the way I've been doing for years. So, I do a hotel and you go and you measure and you meet with the team and you get it all set up. Then you go back home and you work, and you may never go back to the hotel again.
Wow.
It can happen,
Wow.
So
I personally, because I mean, before COVID, I traveled to speak everywhere. I kind of love being at home.
yeah.
Truthfully, this is I found a spot, and like I've spoken virtually at different things, using
I
Zoom or something
like
like
it.
that, and I love
I like
doing
it.
that. Yeah.
If you're comfortable, how many people are still not comfortable with it, they hate it. I get it. All right, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it then if your work doesn't require it. But I don't see the problem. I mean, it's not possible to be everywhere, and especially because of COVID. We talk about this all the time. It might be another year or two before we're all leveled and settled and whatever that means,
Yeah.
but where people are traveling more. But I don't feel the inclination. I do like people. It's not that I don't want to be around people, but I can do my work anywhere. I joke and I say if I never got out of my pajamas again, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
I don't care. So
Yeah,
anyway,
even this year with Christmas, there's only two places. Like I told my wife I really wanted to visit, and we didn't go anyway because I
yeah,
don't want to get on a plane yet and stuff like that. But I said to her, I love being at home. She travels for business still.
yeah,
She still gets on planes and travels for business,
mhm.
and then comes home. She wants to travel for pleasure. Me, I'm like, I want to travel for pleasure, but I want to get in the car and go somewhere. I don't want to fly. And
I don't
yeah.
really care. I think it's look, life is what it is, and I think mixing stuff up is really important. I think when you do the same thing every day the same way,
Mhm, mhm.
I mean, I think you already know where I'm going with this. It can get really boring. It can get old fast. You get stuck in whatever we'll call it a rut. I don't know how people see you, but I mean, you're not learning.
Yeah,
Part of
yeah,
what I do is you're always learning, even when you know how to do a specific type of job, that doesn't mean that's the exact way you're going to do it. I love learning. That's why I do all these conferences and webinars. I'm just always getting new information,
mhm,
and things are always changing.
yeah.
So, you know,
Raina, you don't want to fly either. You don't put your tool. I get it, Raina. You know what I mean? A lot of us, it's risk. I have a problem sitting a long period of time with masks. All right, and that's just
yeah,
my thing. It doesn't mean I refuse to wear a mask. It means I'm going to try to not wear one
smart.
as long as I can because it's
Yeah,
uncomfortable. But I will do it if I have to because it is for safety of others. All right. I just spent 2 weeks being sick. All right. If I still have not gone out of my house, even to get a cup of coffee, I
yeah,
won't.
but that will change. That will
No,
change. You're gonna
I am
you're gonna be well,
isolating
and yeah,
myself to
right.
protect the world. All right.
Yeah.
My dishwasher's broken. I can't bring someone in to fix it for another 7 days.
Oh, sorry. Dishwasher. It's called hands.
I know. My hands have been washing dishes for the past, yeah. Anyway.
Uh, anyway, yeah.
um,
Don't die on me now, Tim.
nope, I'm not. Probably the most I've coughed right there in a couple of hours. But anyway, so you got into interior design, all
Mhm.
right, and you do it for a business, but you're doing it all over. It seems you got clients all over. What was it that fascinated you about interior design?
So as I said, I started out in theater. I'm, I don't, I like expression
Mhm,
in any form, art, that sort of thing. And when that became evident that I wasn't going to continue with that arts, theater and arts, I kind of floundered for a while. And this is an actual true story. So one day my sister was at Parsons for jewelry design and textile design. She's really talented. She didn't end up making a career in that, but at the time, that's what she was doing. And I was floundering and I didn't know where to go and what to do. And I was, I need to
mhm,
do something. And she said, just take a class. You got to get your juices going. You got to do something. So when we were kids, Dr. Doolittle, the Rex Harrison version, not the whatever his name is, um, the movie was that this woman stows away on the ship, and there's this huge globe. Oh, I love globes, and now I understood why I love it. As an adult, I look back and I'm like, that's why.
mhm.
So they were looking for the great sea snail. Do you remember the story?
Yep, yep.
Okay, so she stows away and they let her pick it, and they blindfold her and they gave her a hat pin or whatever, and they roll the globe and they go wherever it sticks, that's where we're going to go look for the great sea snail. I know I'm condensing this,
Mhm,
but the idea was that my sister had Parsons' course book, She said, just let's play Dr. Doolittle. I knew what she meant. So I closed my eyes. She flipped the book open and I put my hand down, and I promise you, this is a true story. It opened to interior design. So she says, that makes sense. You're always sketching. You're very arty, very artistic. Go take a class. I took a drafting class. I never looked back. I took to it like a duck to water. So it was an expression. I loved it. So I did that for a couple of years. I didn't finish right away. I started, then I had kids, and then I went back when my son was really little and got the certificate. And I've been doing it almost 40 years. I never looked back. Every time we would go to, say, a hotel or a restaurant or somewhere, whoever I was with, I would just pick it apart. I go, I see where they ran out of money. Yeah. Oh, I know why they made that decision. But it's true. It's in my blood. I don't know that I would do anything else. Yeah. I really don't, other than being a chef. But that's a whole other story. I love food. There's so much to it, and if you don't mind me continuing to talk or, okay.
Please. So I'm here to share your story, Staci.
So, the thing in the last so many years that I have found with people are having to maybe defend, that's a good way to put it, defend the value of what I do. Because some people like, oh, here's the decorator. They poo-poo it. They don't give it like a lot of credence. And I turn around to them and this is what I say. Look around everywhere. Just stop what you're doing right now and look around. Just check everything out. Everything everywhere has had a design decision made to it.
That's
applied
right.
to it. Everything. Your phone, your cup, everything. I'm looking at the back of your guitar, your microphone, everything. And even the food you eat has had some kind of design decision applied to it.
Yep.
Hey, there's different industries, but if you don't have interior design, how are you going to figure out like where to put a corridor and that the door doesn't hit you when you walk, and all these decisions that have to be made, and there's a reason for it. Yeah. So I'm proud of what I do. I feel I would love to do it more for people who are really in need, not just the luxury crowd who can afford it. But I'm really going to try to work my practice to apply it more towards, like, say, aging in place, maybe vets that are home that need it, like really be helpful in terms of adjusting spaces for ADA accommodations. That's where my heart is. But, it's a lot of times there's no money there. I can't make a living out of it. So I do that for heart, and I do other jobs for jobs. I love what I do. I don't care what industry, Well,
so, I mean, that's always been a thing about me. I've kind of switched careers several times throughout my years, and I've always
You're not 20. It happens.
Yeah. I'm always doing something I love. Is the point. If I'm not doing something I love, I have this old thing. It's like, because I used to have motorcycle riding as part of my thing. It's like, man, if you got to enjoy the ride, all right. If you don't enjoy the ride, get off the damn ride, get on another one. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because life's too short to be miserable. All right. And if you can actually take and put your passions, things you enjoy doing, to use, all right, in bettering the world. Yeah. Why not do that as opposed to, well, I gotta pay the bills, so let me keep doing this, But
even early days when I had to, oh my God, I have to pay the bills, I would do work for other people. I didn't just start out having my own business. And I joke and I say, if I never got out of my pajamas again, I'd be happy. But the fact is that I can do what I do anywhere. You can give me anything and I can design. I can design a napkin, I've been doing it for too long. It's not going to stop. There's just different ways of doing it. Look, there are different ways that people run their practices. People, when they hire a designer, architect, whatever, they have to really get into the discussion of what that person, that designer, architect, or whoever, service provider is going to actually provide, because some of them don't do some things and others do other things. Meaning, let's say maybe I am not capable, and I am, but legally I'm not capable of putting together architectural plans. Okay, I can do that. But if I do that for an architect under his umbrella and then he's going to review and whatever, then I'm helping him. But I'm capable of doing it. Other designers can't do that, more decorators. A wallpaper hanger or a painter can call themselves a decorator, or they do designer. They call themselves designers all the time. It doesn't mean they can space plan. I look at it as I could hurt someone with what I do. I have to be very cognizant of that. That's why there's licensing and certifications and all sorts of things. But you have to be aware of what you're doing. And if I can use it to be helpful to people, that's what I want. But what I offer is not the same as maybe what somebody else offers. Just like doctors, they what do they call it? They specialize. So you have your GP, and then you have your neurologist, you have your podiatrist, you have whatever. So people just have to, when you hire somebody and you have a particular project, try to find that person that's a good fit for that. Same thing with, I guess, marketing too, right? Not everybody does the same thing, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I've got a whole different approach on marketing than, like Joe Pardo does. All right, who we're very similar to what we do in business coaching. I have a whole different outlook on how to do it. And my coach and my mentor is a marketing expert. He went to college for marketing.
Okay.
And him and I both still two different ways that we help people with marketing. And the unique thing is because we're both so different. He's been my coach for years. He calls me and asks me for advice now too. And it goes back and forth because we have two different approaches to things. Yeah. All right. And
it's about the fit. It's about the fit. I've talked to you for marketing for my business, and I know I'm suffering. I know we've talked about this. I really need some help. But, again, I have not met anyone that's the right fit for me, either financially or just literally personality, approach. I respect that. I think that's a lot. Okay. I can tell you, my mom had, she's passed now, but many years ago, she had a triple bypass. And we went to Montefiore Hospital. I remember that because it was such an unusual name. I hated her doctor. He was so mean. He was so rude, but he was one of the best at what he did. So I thought, why would you work with this doctor? You can't even talk to him. She didn't care. It wasn't about me, and me getting along with him. But I never forgot that lesson, that it depends on what you're looking for. You can work with people you don't necessarily like if it's the right fit. I know it sounds crazy, but you have to know that the person will give you what you're looking for. Yeah. I just had a meeting today with a new client. It's a jewelry store, a local jewelry store. I'm very excited about it. Not doing the whole store, but he's redoing his whole watch area. And we sat and we talked for a while. And I got what he's trying to do. And I'm a good fit for what he wants to do. Okay. I know other designers who would come in there, and if they don't get the whole store, they're not doing it. They would say, this is how I work, and we have to make everything be cohesive. But I get it. The guy doesn't want to redo the whole store. He only has to do his watches because the brands require it. They want a refresh. So I said, so what we can do is just gingerly take what we're doing on the watch wall with the material, maybe colors or lighting or what have you, and kind of relate it. So we do a little bit in the rest of the store, but we're not going to do a full out remodel because that's not what he wants. So, the client gets what they want, and that's my motto.
The client is the boss, last I heard. Yeah.
I think it's really funny because sometimes you have young designers, and I had an intern. I really love her, and she would design this, whatever, and it was all fancy and overblown. I'm like, I got to tell you something. That looks really good, but that is not what the client wants. And the fact is, the client doesn't pay you, you don't have a job.
Yeah.
So what's the point? I'm not saying give them something awful. If the client says, I like this, okay, this little whatever it is, and you hate it and it's not going to work and you don't want it to represent what you do, I'll just tell them that. I'll say, I can't put my name on that. It's terrible looking. I had a client not long ago, it was a residential project, and she said, I don't like these chairs. I want the sofa. She had other designers in there that automatically they were going to get rid of the sofa. I went, why? It's beautiful. It's exactly what you want. We'll work with that. Okay. I don't feel like you need to throw anything out.
If you came and looked at our sofa, all right, it's a sofa that I picked out. And all right. There are two things that made this house. All right. One was I had the certain flooring that I wanted downstairs and the sofa that I had just bought. And the reason I bought the sofa was it was a tall back, and I'm a tall person, and I wanted comfortably to sit on. Right. Yeah. I wasn't a fan of the color. Just saying, I would have rather had a darker color. I would have rather had a black. Right.
Reupholstering.
I know. However, we just bought this thing months before we bought this condo.
Yeah.
Our designer comes over and looks at it, and she designs the paint color and the flooring. All right. And put the color combination together. Her expertise is she's what do they call the color, like the color designer for whatever the color design certification from what's the paint company? Sherwin-Williams.
Sherwin-Williams. She's a colorist.
Yeah. So that's her expertise.
Yeah.
So she come in, all right, and pick the color for our walls based on the sofa and the flooring.
Yeah. Well, that's what you do. You pick it. I mean, yes, it's great. New constructions is a lot of fun, but that's not every job. And I don't see why I can't take a remodel or a renovation. So you got to pick what's going to stay.
Yeah.
Okay. You work with those elements and you go from there. I'm not one of those designers that comes into a space and goes, everything goes.
Yeah.
I can't, because first of all, there were things that you picked that, that you have a relationship with, and they're fine. If it was worn through, that'd be different. We're not talking about that. Like the client with the sofa's in great condition. It's in her formal living room. She doesn't use it all the time. She just wants a refresh. So, the funny thing is she's in one of those builder type of homes, so they don't really give you like lots of architectural details. The molding is, you know what I mean? It's really loud.
Yeah. It's a package.
So she wants like French country, and I said to her, well, I got to tell you, you know where all the money's going to go into? Architectural details. We're going to be adding moldings and paneling because that's what it calls for. We'll minimize it, but you've got to add something here. This is like a box, and she's like, oh, I like that idea. So that's the approach. Anyway.
It's interesting that, most people would not stop with their business like you do and go, okay, what matters to the client and how do we work around it? You know what I mean? And that goes to any businesses out there. All right. That's the first thing is what does the client want? I realize that I'm a specialist in marketing blogs. All right. But if I've got a client who does not want to write, I'm not their person. All right.
Yeah.
I could tell him do a podcast. I could tell him, do a live stream show so you don't have to type. But my expertise is learning on how to do the writing part of it.
Yeah.
That's what I specialize in. That doesn't mean everybody wants that or needs that. So yeah.
The most successful business person ever is somebody who listens to what their client is telling them and also hears what they're not telling them. Okay, that's just as important. So it's good listening skills and it's good, deduction skills. And also for designers, it's good sourcing. We have to know where to get our stuff. Okay. COVID has been a huge challenge for that, for sure. And I'm not even talking about the delays. I'm just talking about who's still in business. Who's still producing stuff. I called a few people for some things. They're not in business anymore. And so you got to now, it's like starting over again. Some of the expertise that you rely on to hire somebody like me is that we already have all the stuff going. It's a wild, wild west out there. It's not the same anymore. And it's made it very hard to work, very stressful. But
well, knowing that so many people who have basically, chosen early retirement or whatever because of COVID, what has that made you look at in your business? Do you want to go, okay, I've been doing this for 40 years, I want to retire, or do no, I'm going to rebuild. I'm going to find a whole new set of people. How do you feel about this?
I'm just going to keep going. I'm not even looking as rebuild. I'm just going to keep putting my head down and just keep going ahead. Because clients still come. I just got this new client today, just signed him today. Yeah. That's going to happen. I kind of sort of sad that I've lost all my hotels. That's a whole nother marketing, I guess, campaign or approach or effort to maybe see who's out there, because I know they've gotten a lot of waivers and extensions on their PIPs and their remodels that they have to do to satisfy the brands. But that's a whole starting over again part. But again, that's just one part of my business. I do residential, I do corporate, I do retail now. Okay, second jewelry store. I never actually said I did retail before because I didn't have a lot of it. But yeah, I kind of do everything other than industrial, because I've had a long career. Do I do really much in way of healthcare or education anymore? No, because a lot of the bigger firms have just gobbled them up. And it's really hard to break into that now. Just like casino work. I wouldn't go after that. Go after hotels, but hotels and casino work are different. It's just a different medium, a different animal, if you will. So it's a very small community, but I'm capable of doing them. It's just not worth the effort to go after them because I'm fighting bigger companies, competing, not fighting, but competing with them. So I'll stay in my lane and I'm fine with it. Look, I'm a good designer. That's never a question. It's just like any small business person. It's having the work, it's just having consistent work. And I understand that's about marketing, but some of that is just I have referrals. I just want the opportunity to keep doing what I do. I'm not ready to stop. I'm not ready. I'll let you know when. I'm not ready. It's not happening.
I know it's. I always question this. I mean, and it looked, a lot of people looked at the pandemic and went, okay, man, it's just time for me to retire. I'm going to give it up now. It's just, I'm not going to keep battling this.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did. I look at my own life and my business and I didn't give up, but I went, you know what? I'm dialing back. I'm not
dialing back is different.
Yeah. That's a whole different subject, dialing back.
I also feel like that's a little bit of the benefit of us not being 20 anymore and starting out.
Yeah.
Because we have the benefit to look back and go, okay, this didn't work. This was okay. This had potential. So let me, take my experience and focus it and put it to where it'll be best served. That's kind of why I said what I said before earlier with the vets and the aging in place. That's a hot thing right now. They can be small or big jobs. And I just really feel like that's where my heart is. And I think at my age, I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm allowed to start following my heart. I have a lot to offer and a lot to give in those kinds of projects, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And it's like for me, looking at that and looking at the projects I did and what I'm working on, having Bob Berg on my podcast during the pandemic was the biggest eye opener to me. Bob's a great speaker. I've seen Bob speak before. He's been on my podcast like 5-6 times.
Cool.
And he said to me, he said, Tim, I'm never traveling to speak again, ever. I'm done traveling.
You don't have to.
And I'm like, oh my God, that opened my eyes going, wait a minute. I can adjust my business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you're looking at it now. I can adjust my business. I would love to be a point where I was 100% referral. I think you're mostly referral, right?
No, you would think so, but usually my clients, they're just one and done kind of thing. I think if I'm trying to think of maybe a hotel would be a recurring, a referral. Yeah, it's I've had a very, very varied, and I know a lot of people say, oh, you should be referral. Yeah, that'd be nice. I get referrals from somebody else. They'll say, oh, Staci was great. Use her. That's how this jewelry store came about. But yeah, I haven't had that experience. I've also moved. It took me a number of years. I was in Monmouth County for many years. And we used to joke, we say we are Shuls are us because we were doing all temples, for a while. It's not that I'm religious. It's just the jobs that came in. One tells another. And when I moved over to this side of the state, it was like starting over again. So I kind of, just you go where the jobs are, but Google's been very good to me. I have to tell you, I'm not trying to give them props, but people find me on Google, they'll type in local designer. I'm bad with marketing. I know I am. I really bad, Staci.
It's okay. If you're getting business, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? When I was in Pennsylvania, I had an auto-based business. So like I was doing car washes and auto body paint work. So like I learned where to find my business. It's like, most everybody else was chasing the insurance companies. Yeah. And I looked at the headache to get into that. And I went, I don't want to go that headache. So I went around them and I went to the other body shops and I would pick up the small jobs that they didn't want to do.
That's kind of what I do. Yeah.
And it's the idea of wherever you're at, you find your niche.
Right? Low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not that they're not worse jobs. They're just, I don't want to spend the energy to compete against people when most of those people who are making decisions, like a lot of hotels or groups, investor groups, lot of big projects, multi-housing or investor groups, they're faceless to me. They're nameless. I don't have a shot because I can't do a presentation. All they want is for you to put it together and send it. And then they go, no. That's not the way I work.
So your personality, what you saying? Your personality comes in a lot to connecting with the customer.
Because that's what you're getting with me. That's what you're getting. I
Makes
believe
sense.
in what I'm doing. I'm never going to give you something. And listen, I've had clients that say, I like this. And I'll say, I don't. But if you want me to do that, I will make sure it works. I don't have to like everything I do. I'm not living there. I'm not working there. Okay. But as long as in my experience, my professional experience, I know that it works, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'll be just as proud of it. It's not maybe the thing I would have picked, maybe the fabric or the seat or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, we don't have to like everything we do.
Yeah.
In terms of the selection of materials, it just has to work. It all has to work in the design.
But it does sound like, I mean, the key that I caught on there is, personally, you work with them personally. There's no drop in in a box and figure it out. It seems like you're connected one-on-one with the client when you're doing it. And that
you have to be, because if you can't have a conversation with them about what they're looking for, what their needs are. I remember in our mastermind group, we talked about this, like, what's the tagline? And I've been trying to sell this tagline because it's legitimately what I do. And I really believe it, but I know it's very mouthy and toothy and wordy. It's, I make space function for the occupant, for the people who are using the space. The point is that everybody's use of the space is different. And I will listen and hear that. So yes, office spaces are office spaces. Everybody needs filing cabinets and desks and what have you. But an architect's office is going to be way different than, say, a body shop office. Why? Because first of all, a body shop, you probably only have one office, whereas an architect, he may have a couple of offices. He needs lots of printers. There's just, the needs are different, but some are same, some are different. The point is, I will make that space function for the unique needs of that individual.
That business or that individual,
Remember I told you the story of, I think when I was trying to sell that tagline in the meeting, and I said, listen, this is, and I always say this if I speak at a group, this is what I use. I'm short, I'm 5'1", whatever. So my needs in a living room are going to be way different. But if I had a client that was like 6-7 feet tall, he's like a basketball player, and he wants a basketball court in his living room because he has this huge great room, and he can do it. As long as it's not killing anybody or shooting someone and committing a crime, I'm going to do it. Why? Because he's the client and he gets to have what he wants, and I can do it. Okay. That's it. And
you make a customer space work for them. A great one there. Robert put it there. Yeah.
That's it, because my needs are different than your needs. You're tall, I'm short. So even like, I bought a house with my partner years and years ago, and we were custom designing the kitchen. And again, me being short, he was tall like you. So we were laughing. It's like we had to come to a compromise on how high we wanted the kitchen island to be. Right? Because I would like it shorter because I do most of the cooking, but he did cook too. So we compromise, but there are standard typical heights of counters and what have you, but we were able to customize it. Okay. And that's listen, I also used to do a lot of networking back pre-COVID days. And this was a real eye opener for me, that I didn't understand what people didn't understand about customization. Like, that's a word that people go, ooh, their brains exploding. Oh my God, it's going to be a lot more money. Yeah, it will be a little bit more money, but I can take, and this is what I'm getting to. I said, I can take running lines and customize them to work within your budget. So somebody's hand raised up. It was like a lunch meeting. They go, what's a running line? I looked, I thought they were messing with me. I'm like, seriously? And then I realized, that's my lingo. They didn't understand. It was just stock items that are sitting on the shelf. Like, you could go into Home Depot and pick those cabinets out, kind of thing. And I laughed. I said, you really have to start adjusting the way you talk. But the fact is, I can work within the money that you want to spend. We call it, in our business, we call it the investment. But most people think of it as a budget. Budget is very limiting. We're like, what are you willing to invest in your remodel? Okay. So if you don't have a huge budget or investment amount to spend, I'm going to go with a running line, a standard cabinet, and I'll customize it for you. I'm just giving you that as an example. But I can do that. I'm capable of doing that. Most people don't realize that they can do that. Okay. And know where the money shot is, if you will. Like, where should you be spending your money? I have a kitchen remodel. I'm so excited about this. I will be posting it come soon. And one of the things we've been really struggling with is the hood over the stove. She originally wanted something very nice and elegant, and she's a single gal in her 40s, and we can't get it right now. Either it's insanely expensive or the one we want. So I said, let's manage our expectations. And I gave her choices of other things. But I can tell you that once she, and this is what I call it, managing expectations. Once she brought down what she wanted, the world opened up, okay? Because I can work with a running line and maybe adjust it or whatever. It's going to be beautiful. I can't wait to post them on my Facebook pages and my social media, whatever. Cool. But that's about managing expectations as well. That's really my badly put point.
Good. So,
yeah.
Well, Staci, it's been great getting to know you and have you on air. I want to make sure people can reach out to you. Those people who have projects and maybe want to give your input or take a relationship. What is the best website to reach out and get to you on?
I see the ticker tape you have there, www.interiorandDesignLLC.com. What's really funny is the interior and the company name has the ampersand, but you can't do that with domains. So that's actually correct.
Again, blog and VideoCon. I have the and on my web domain. Yep, same thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Interesting. So
yeah. And there's a contact form on there. It's either info@interior, or you can, my name, Staci, Staci, @interiorandDesignLLC.com.
Cool. Well, before you go, all right, I play a game with all of my guests, all right, where you get to pick 3 envelopes, and I have questions inside these envelopes. There's numbers 1 through 7. You pick 3 of them, and I will put the answers out. I ask you the questions in the envelopes.
Oh, okay. Well, my favorite numbers are 3 and 5. How's that?
3 and 5. 3 and 5. Let me make sure I get the numbers right here. 3 and 5. What? One more number.
Okay. 3, 5. 8. Let's go.
I don't have an 8. 7's the last one.
7. Go for 7.
Okay.
Go for 7.
So what we do now is we open these up and see whatever questions are in there. Each envelope has 3 questions, this or that questions. First one, envelope number 3. Question number 1: at your house, does the toilet paper go over on the roll or under?
Over.
I love that I got that question for an interior designer.
And when I go to somebody's place, and even if it's a commercial space and it's under, I turn it.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't. No. I am so thankful that came up for interior designer. That question came up. So, next question, number 2.
Not awkward at all, but go ahead.
Yeah. Number 2. Do you like beer or wine?
Neither.
Hey.
I love Prosecco.
That's technically a wine. Technically.
Okay, so let's say wine.
Yeah.
I love everything about wine. I love the country. I love images. I love everything that goes about wine except drinking it.
Yeah, I don't drink it. I sip it and taste it.
Yeah, I'm just get headaches from it, and I just never developed a real palate for it. But I love everything about it.
Cool. Question number 3 in this envelope is Superman or Batman? She's like, huh? Who are they?
Superman. No, I know who they are, but Superman, I guess. I don't know.
What I like is some of these questions are female design questions, and some are male design questions. And the way I do this now, you never know who's going to get what question. Before, I used to plan out the questions. Now you get to choose the questions; they're already pre-selected.
Yeah, Batman's too dark. I mean, he's all right. It's whatever.
Envelope number 5. Question number 1 is boxers or briefs?
I was going to joke before we started this saying, don't ask me boxers or briefs because I'm a girl, but I would rather have boxers if anything.
Listen, I don't know who's getting what question anymore, but anyway.
I believe you now, for real.
Yeah. Second question, Coke or Pepsi?
Don't do either one, but back in the day, I was a Pepsi girl.
Yeah, I was more of a Coke person back in the day. I remember a point
Yeah,
in time where I liked Pepsi, but then I was like, no, I went back to Coke.
yeah.
And I think when I look at everything I eat or drink, I'm not like Pepsi is the sweeter. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm
No,
more,
I don't even know. I can't even answer that. I just don't do
yeah,
that kind of thing. Once in a very, 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 very blue moon, and that's so
yeah,
rare, I will have a Diet Coke. But honestly, no,
yeah,
I'm neither. Neither.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question number 3 in this one here. Would you rather stay in a hotel or go camping?
No, that's interesting. I think it depends on the time of year and my mood. Because I'm a hotel girl. I like a 5-star, but I like camping too. I'd be fine with camping. I
A
would.
4-star hotel. That's my idea of camping.
Okay. Yeah, I like both. I like both.
My wife, she'll stay in the tent. Me, I
Oh,
can do one if we go on a trip, one night in a tent, one night in a hotel. I'm sorry, I can't do all hotel or
I'm
all.
a flexible person. I think it just depends on who you're with,
Yeah,
and what the set of circumstances are. So, you know, anyway,
cool.
are we good?
Envelope number
Oh,
7.
all right.
Question number 1. If you were driving in your car, do you listen to a podcast or music?
Podcast. That's where I
Podcast.
catch up on my podcasts. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's that's just the thing with cars. All of a sudden, with the pandemic now, I want to listen to podcasts. Yeah,
Yeah, I hate to say this because I do love music, but the problem is that the music I like is very heavy and melodramatic and almost sad, and it puts me in a bad mood, a very sad mood. I don't want to do it. I podcasts.
yeah.
I need to hear.
When Mom gets in the car in the morning and we go get coffee, I tend to put different music on that Mom may not like,
Yeah.
just because it's my car. Anyway,
You know what I don't like? I don't like disc jockeys. I don't like that.
yeah, yeah.
I can't stand it.
I
So
I went to satellite radio. I don't. Yeah, I
yeah,
got so sick of that disc jockey crap. And I remember even with satellite radio, I was listening through the pandemic, and one of the guys who's on the satellite radio, started to do some commentary on something. I'm like, dude, I'm listening to satellite radio because I want to listen to music, not your commentary.
yeah, that's the point. I don't like the fake out, the fake
Yeah,
happy. Yeah, I don't like that. So if I'm gonna listen to music, I want to listen to music. So thank God for satellite.
satellite and
Yeah,
and iPod. So yeah.
for real.
Question number 2: high heels or boots?
Oh man. You can have high heeled boots,
I know.
and that's being a designer. That's already where I go. It's like, what can I do to this? I love a good high heel. I can't wear them anymore. I just can't. So I wear low
I just
heels.
after living in Texas for 20 plus years, all right, I'm a boot
People
guy.
wear
I'm
boots
just
there. Oh, cowboy boots, but not
yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah. Cowboy
Um,
boots is like, yeah,
I'm wearing boots right now,
yeah.
and they're flats, so because it's cold.
So no, yeah, I'm at home. I don't think I put shoes on unless I go out.
Yeah, yeah. That's I'm serious. The pandemic has changed everything. These last year and a half to almost 2 years has changed the way I dress, the way I approach everything. I don't know how it's going to go back.
Yeah. And last question: if you go to the movies, are you a popcorn person or a candy person?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
Love
I figured
popcorn.
as much.
Yeah. I'm
So
trying to stay away from the sweets as much as possible, although it doesn't mean it happens. Just I was never much of a candy person. I wasn't. Like my brother and sister did this the what do you call it? The fake fruity stuff. I just
yeah,
never liked that. Never. But I'll do chocolate,
good
which has
chocolate.
nothing to do with me being an interior designer.
But I mean, come on, I grew up in Pennsylvania. You know what chocolate factory comes in Pennsylvania, right?
No, I'm not a Hershey's person either. Sorry. I like good stuff. But that's
Oh, I
also
like
the
it.
adult in me. You know what I mean? I'm trying to stay away from the sugar stuff. Good quality chocolate. It's not about the sugar,
No, a good quality dark chocolate.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
I love
Hershey
the
doesn't make it.
finer things in life. Like your question about the camping and the hotel.
Yeah,
I do love them. I love the finer things in life. But it's not everything. Just something that tastes good. That's it. It's not about luxury or
yeah.
candy or whatever. It's what you like.
It is exactly. Well, it goes always back to what the customer wants. So
Yeah, always, always. So
well, Staci, it's been fun having time with you here today. Repeat the website one more time so people can come find you.
it's a mouthful. www.interioranddesignllc.com.
Cool, cool. Well, I thank you for being a guest today, taking time out of your schedule and sharing with my audience. I appreciate that.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate the offer there. So
Cool.
All right.
To you guys, the guests, our wonderful, wonderful listeners, thank you guys for tuning in today. Do me a favor, go check out Staci, interiorandDesignLLC.com. I'm Tim Gillette with the Tim Gillette Show, and I will be back with another guest real soon. In the meantime, guys, have a great day. Bye.
See ya.